y is equal to 3x, x is equal to 3y. Consider the system of equations above. How many solutions does this system have? Well, when I think about solutions to systems, I always imagine each of the equations in our system as kind of describing a line. And if the two lines intersect, you're going to have one solution. And if they don't intersect, you're going to have no solutions. And if they end up being the same line, so if they end up being the same line, you have an infinite number of solutions. So let's see. And so we can immediately rule out, because these are linear equations, two solutions. The only way you're going to have two solutions is if one of these lines, at least one of them curved. So if one of them did something like this, then you could have two solutions right there and right there. But these are both linear equations, so we can rule out having two solutions. So, but let's just think about these up here. Well, what I like to do is let's solve them both explicitly for y. That's at least how I like to visualize lines. This first one up here is already written explicitly in terms of y. The second one over here, let's divide both sides by 3. And we get y is equal to x over 3. So this first one is y is equal to 3x. The second one is y is equal to x over 3, or we could say 1/3 x. And so these lines, they don't have the same slope. So they're not going to be parallel, and they're not going to be the same line. So these are going to intersect. These are going to have one solution, exactly one solution. And if you wanted to visualize this on the coordinate axes, I'll do it really fast. If that's our y-axis, this is our x-axis, x, y. This first line right over here, this is going to have a slope of 3. So it's going to be a pretty steep line. It's going to look something like this. And then the second line right over here is going to have a slope of 1/3. So it's going to look something like this. These two clearly intersect. And actually, now that I look at it, one way to realize that you're going to have at least one solution, and then you'll see it, you even see it where they're intersecting right over here. The solution is when x and y both are equal to 0. But since you want to rule out that, hey, maybe it has an infinitely many solutions, look, just think about what these lines represent. This first one, very steep line right over here. The second one, a much less steep line. But they're different lines, so they're not the same line, and they don't have the same slope, so they're not going to be parallel. So they're going to intersect in exactly one point.